Because think about it, if the company said, hey, you don't need none of this stuff, we just want people that want to work, there would be no more Comptias, IC Squareds, EC Councils. All these different companies will not exist anymore. And these are probably like $1 million, multi-million-dollar companies now just because of certs alone. Like Comptia been in business alone just from the government because they struck that deal with them. Don't get me wrong, there's some good value and knowledge in the certifications. But if it wasn't for the government, what y'all think would be happening with Comptia? This video is being brought to you by Level Up in Tech. It's Q3 in 2024, but you still have time to get into the cloud. With the quick search for cloud in Indeed, you can see over 44,000 jobs are listed that is related or pertaining to the cloud. Now, that is a lot, but if you're watching this right now, you might be thinking, well, how do I learn the skills to get into the cloud? Well, we got you covered. Level Up in Tech is one of the best, if not the best, program related to getting people into the cloud. At Level Up in Tech, you can learn about server config and troubleshooting, the AWS cloud, infrastructure as code, CI/CD, scripting, containerization, and more. And also, they now also have a new multi-cloud AI engineering program that is dedicated to help you have the latest and greatest skills to help you be marketable in this tech market. They post more testimonials than almost any program that I could think of. Check them out. Now, if you're ready to start your cloud career today, then use the link in my description to go to levelupintech.com/tech so you can start your career. And plus, they'll know that I sent you. But on to the video. We actually get, it's a lot of interesting things happening. I know you was talking about the green.
I just seen something about Chase this morning, but I couldn't even, it wasn't a lot of details. I'm sure it's got something to do, like you said, with scammers.
No, that's exactly what it is. So everybody been going crazy with the Chase glitch. And all of this is scammers depositing like fake checks. And they knew a loophole to get the money out of their accounts. However, Chase figured this out quickly and hit all their accounts and put them in the negative. So one dude owed like negative 40,000 and people are like owing a lot of money already. And not realizing that they are messing up their relationship with this bank and they have these account numbers and they can tell everybody, hey, like these people right here are scammers. Like, don't give them accounts. So like the funny thing is scammers always think they're so smart, but they're actually dumb. Like they'll take a little bit of money right here and then, I don't know. It's crazy. I was like, that's what y'all fools doing. Like these fools, and I may try to put this right here for post editing, but these fools was lining up in the ATMs to scam, not knowing, hey, y'all are on camera. Y'all are willfully doing it too.
Thank you.
That's the thing. And it's not like you did it on an accident. Like if you're going to scam, bro, like $1,000, maybe $5,000. If you're going to do something that low, you might be able to like, I was an accident. But when they looking at your account history and knowing you don't get that money in there and you put some in there for $50,000 with a fake check.
It's knowing you don't get that money in there for me, because for sure. Yeah, the bank scams have been out of pocket for a while now. I honestly thought they were gonna pivot and do something different because it's been the same things going on for years now.
Yeah, but who knows with them? But I know for the fact that you put Kamala talking about washing greens in the tub, which I've never seen nobody do. I know it's been irking you.
I'm just, sometimes you can just not answer a question. And she one of them people who should just not answer certain questions. Like even why is somebody even asking you about greens during election season? There's plenty of other things to be talking about. But the fact that she took it far enough to say that she had to cook so many greens that she had to clean them in the tub was just TMI. It was, I'm sick of her.
No, disclaimer, everybody. These are my opinions. These are not Destiny's. Before this whole Trump and Joe Biden stuff happened, and then they really did a loophole and made her the candidate, I was telling everybody, say, hey, this is on the heels of not like us still being a thing. I was like, Kamala's not like us.
I saw
the play. If you watch the BET Awards, I saw the play then with her and Taraji, and she's talking about not like us. You got to pop out and show them. I was like, I saw the play then, and I was like, okay, and you ask why would they be um you ask why would somebody be asking about greens? Because they're paid to be in the show. They think this is the thing. Most of everyone is so gullible and dumb that, and it's really like I just have to say to black people because Joe Biden told y'all, "Hey, you're not black if you don't vote for me."
He really
Now
said that too.
they're just trying to appeal to you to get the vote, and most of the time, even who you vote for don't mean a bill or something going to get passed or not anyway. And so it's just one of those things where I personally would have preferred her just to come out and just say, what she was going to do versus trying to placate and act like, oh, I did this and that. And they don't really mention that she was primarily raised in Canada and she always talked about her mom first, really never talked about her dad. It's just a lot of stuff. Like it's all this discourse. You got the what's they called diaspora and ADOS and FBA and people going back and forth. But one thing holds true, and I was naive and younger, but I didn't really realize this. But we have not had a black American president. Obama's Kenyan and half white, so he really was not black. But he had Michelle on the side, so he looked like he was black.
Michelle would have never answered that question. And that's how I rest my case right there. Like it was just completely irrelevant.
I think she would answer it, but you know why they asked her that too?
She
It's
wouldn't have
not because of
answered
the
it
show.
like that. She wouldn't have answered it in a way that would have caused so much chaos in that. Like, I'm, like you said, she not like us.
I think Michelle answered it. However, the thing is, the reason why they asked her that again is because some interviews prior to that, she was like, I remember one time I had to cook all these greens. So this is like the second or third time her saying it. Because whatever they didn't wrote the script for, hey, talk about greens. Like, nobody want to hear nothing about no greens. Or one time they caught her in a lot of time about when she was in college, she was listening to Tupac and Biggie. And that could not have been the case based on her age. I'm just like,
Oh
yo.
my God. No way. No
But the
way.
thing, the crazy thing about me is that, well, not me, but this election is, I actually stopped saying so many of the things that I actually believe on Twitter. Like I'll see it on here. But when I said all that, I had people immediately go to, I never would have took you as a Trump supporter. And I was like, just because I
Whoa.
point something out don't
Whoa,
necessarily
whoa,
mean I support
whoa.
the other person.
Right.
I was like, I didn't even vote for Trump in the last election. I'll go based off policy. I'm independent. I don't have a party. I just go based off of what I think will be the best and go do some research. And that's how I compare like policy. I don't care nothing about what they saying. Actions speak more than words to me. So that's why I'm like most of the black men that have sense, that are not gullible, that are not crying, like all the freaking stuff when they try to like make a black man look stupid on TV.
Mhm.
The Steve Harveys, the Ricky Smileys, and all them that are just saying dumb stuff. They're never saying, oh, well, she plans to do this, this, and this. They're just always saying, well, we can't do this or that. But I was like, no, like, just be honest. Because if you want to be true, she didn't run to really get that seat.
What do you
She knew
think about
I think they knew she would not have won.
what you think about her VP?
I haven't listened to much of this guy, to be honest. I I try to, but like with the newborns and stuff, sometimes we say, "Oh, the DNC and stuff is on," and that's when I like try to tune in. When I can, I try to read articles, and you see sound bites from TikTok and stuff. But a lot of times, that's going to be based on whatever narrative somebody want to push. So, all in all,
I think I like his personality, but I haven't dived into what he stands for, what he's done. I know he's pretty regular though. He's like the most regular VP according to what I have seen. But yes, election season, so go ahead and get your minds right and vote.
yeah, it's going to be. To me, I've been looking at it for since the first time Trump won. I've been looking at these things as like a show, like a one of them shows that they would make something like I haven't seen Scandal ever.
A
Somebody's gonna ask me.
circus.
I've never seen Scandal,
It's a
but something
circus.
like that, like where they like Trump is hilarious. I really don't take much of the things he says serious. He's probably going to talk about. in Colorado, they got these Venezuelan gangs that took over like this one
I
complex.
literally just seen that. It's what is going on? Why isn't no one helping these people?
I think the authorities got to some people and got them out of there. I mean, it's just the things that's going on, that's happening. Now I will tell people, y'all do need to, when you see a headline on Twitter, go actually research it, because all you saw over Twitter was Kamala and them approve of the immigrants getting this, 20,000 or some whatever thing. But when you go look at everything, they just kind of got added to it, and there's got to be a list of things that you have to qualify for in order to get whatever down payment assistance you got to get. And then I think I saw somewhere else, and I didn't double check this yet, so somebody in the comments can fact check me. But I think after that they said, no, we're not giving you the money. You pay the down payment, and then it'll get credited back to your taxes. So it's a lot of different things that they go out there, because you can paint whatever narrative by saying, oh, they're gonna do this or that. But one thing is for sure, that that's gonna be the Achilles heel of them if they don't have anything to back up to say for those immigrants coming in illegally, taking jobs, getting benefits, getting money that could be going to other people. Or like people was talking about, if the economy's so great, why everybody ran to Chase to get this free money?
Okay.
So those are things that we typically think about when it comes to elections and policies. And like I said, I never speak on them like super in depthly, because I'm not a politician. I did take a political science class, but I was not a political science major. I just read and kind of do what I can to educate myself on what I know or what I don't know.
Same, same.
That's what I try to do. Before we get into the fun stuff, when you see the logo with a NVIDIA, how do you pronounce it? I'm gonna ask you.
Bye. Mm-mm. You won't get
What?
me. No, I'm just kidding. I'll say Nvidia. Like, is it
I
just
never knew
Vidya?
people were saying NVIDIA.
That's how you say it?
No, it's NVIDIA.
Oh, well,
So
cool. I
so
was
there was
right.
an article that came out saying, "Hey, if you've been saying NVIDIA, you've been saying it wrong. It's NVIDIA." But I never knew that people were saying NVIDIA.
Nvidia. Mm.
It doesn't make sense. And they said it was named NVIDIA due to like the lack of words they had for it and some other stuff. So I was like, cool, cool.
Well, at least I was on the right end of that pronunciation.
hmm And then, do you plan on getting a different device? Oh, I forgot. No, you just got an iPhone.
I just got a replacement. I do want to get the 15 because immediately yes to those AI features, and apparently you can only use those with the 15. That's what they told me at the Apple Store. Um, I will probably never leave Team iPhone as my primary device. If I could have a secondary device like a work phone or something else, a business phone, then I wouldn't mind testing out an Android type of device.
Yeah, I'm getting a Pixel 9 for sure.
So you leave an iPhone or you keeping your iPhone?
I'll probably keep it. But once iOS 18 comes out, everybody will be able to do RCS. So I may just move to it. It's just some functionality. Like, I like this phone.
Boo,
Only reason I
boo,
got it back in
boo.
2020 because everybody had one of these to FaceTime. But there's some simple functionality that I've missed out of my Androids.
Like
And the
what?
Pixel is always the best pure Android phone you can get. It's like when people see it, I always tell people, if you want to go to Android and you want simplicity, good photos and stuff to work and get updates, get a Pixel. Because it's Google's phone. Great camera. And so yeah, I'm ready to get back on that train. For real. Because I think also the reason why I always used to be a staunch person of going against iPhone was like, everybody got the same phone. That's the beauty of when I used to like Android, because at the time you had so many different phone makers, people had different phones. You felt like you could be like some more of an individual versus everybody buying the same phone over and over again. Like, if it was not for Android, I don't think iPhone would have even innovated anymore, because it started making it. Remember, the screens used to still be small. The Android came out with the big screens, and then everyone's like, your screen's small. Then they finally came out with like the big iPhone screens. Androids, they have the what you call it? What's they called? They have screen fingerprint readers now.
Mm.
So you can do that. I don't know if iPhone ever go back to it, but I like that versus a lot of times looking at the thing. Even though it's
Man,
great, I
what?
think
Because
Face
it
ID is
can't.
like probably the most accurate thing
It's
I ever used.
it's just annoying sometimes in the dark, late at night. If you got your bonnet on, you
Mhm.
know.
Yep. And then I wonder if I could do this. So before we started, I was kind of getting myself ready, and I was listening to the new Big Sean. It's kind of like it's not a dud to me, but it ain't like, hey, did you hear that new Big Sean? It's kind of like, and I'm a Big Sean fan. Hopefully he come back out here. The last time he's come out here, I think it was like 2019, 2020. He's supposed to come to the Toyota Music Factory in Urban. So I'm looking for him to announce tour date soon, so I can definitely go to that. And
I didn't even
I
know
don't
he
know
had
what
new
song I think I
music.
like. I don't know. I think like the beat most on this. I'm just gonna play a little bit of this, and I may have to clip it out, but we'll see how it goes.
What's the name of that
Uh,
song?
it is what it is. Like it's a couple songs on there that like he rapping, but it's like I was telling her my girl last night. I was like, and they said the same thing on Joe Budden podcast, but I was like, it seemed like if you have, let's say in this instance, since he did an interview with Charlemagne, and he said he felt like he was supposed to be in the big three or whatever. So we're gonna assume all four people are in the race: Drake, Kendrick, Cole, Big Sean. Those three are going to try to win. The way Big Sean is rapping on this project, or somehow the songs that somehow sound like a dude that was just happy to get invited to the race, and he's not trying to win. So that's how it sounds. He might not like that from a lot of people, but I think that's a honest assessment. Like even like shout out to Gabe. If for those of y'all who watch Struggle Security, my guy Gabe A over there, go check his channel out where they normalize struggling in security. He texts me, he's like, "Yo, he's from Detroit." He was like, "Man, I was trying to listen to this Big Sean snooze fest." So
Snooze
it
fest.
could definitely get like that with his tone. It's not a lot of
Yeah.
manipulation of his voice or talk in different ways. So I get it. I get it. I just the songs I like, and that's why I'm gonna keep it at from there.
I'm gonna check it out.
Let's see, where
Real
are we?
quick. Did you watch Deliverance? Please tell me you watched it.
I didn't watch it yet.
I know
I
I should have
watched
texted you last night and said you should watch this because it. We'll wait. We'll
I
wait to
watched The
talk about it.
Union,
The Union.
Mark
That's
Wahlberg and Halle
I like
Berry
Mark
and
Wahlberg.
the
Is it
dude from
funny? Oh,
Luke
with
Cage.
Holly. Yeah. Was it good? It was alright.
It's just something to watch. It ain't nothing I'll say you gotta because we've seen that movie before, but just differently.
I'm just put this here. The Deliverance was like on a Tyler Perry level, and we please watch it so we can talk about it.
Yeah, I got you next time. I got you next time. Let's wake everybody up. Welcome back to the TechTual Talk podcast. I'm your host HD, and we got
Cyber Shorty in the house.
and we trying to wake y'all up when y'all ride to work right now. But if you are watching us on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcast, Spotify, you know what the deal is. Follow us, leave us a review, and comment, and share this video out for the algorithm. We've been going crazy lately on the channel, and that's what we continue to do. Now, I know that we are finally intro on the pod. We talked about a lot of good stuff. Some stuff that may be interesting to the common listener that hadn't came to the channel before, but now we finna get into what we really talk about. And so I'm gonna pass the ball to Destiny so she can bring up our first topic.
All right, all right. So, our first topic of today is going to be flying through Seattle's hacked airport. And I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. All right. So, if you don't know, Seattle announced that they were experiencing a possible cyber attack on its systems. And so this article is basically being written from the perspective of someone who has had to travel through that airport since this has occurred. Okay, so it says the outage resulting from the recent hack has not fortunately caused planes to fall out of the sky or air traffic control to double book a runway. Those resources run by the feds are considerably more locked down. Rather than catastrophe, what we have now and for the foreseeable future, since authorities have offered no timeline for restoration, is an object lesson in why we have rules about where to put our eggs. For my part, I found out on Sunday when I hesitate to and I hesitate even to mention it because no one seems to know about this miraculous service. I went to reserve my place in the security line via the C Spot Saver. The service was offline and throwing the kind of error that you don't have to be a sysadmin to know means deeper problems. If I had been a good reporter and read my own publication over the weekend, I would have known this was the result of, amongst other things, the entire user facing DNS configuration of the port's web architecture being totally cooked. So they're basically saying it's still offline. Luckily, I was not checking a bag and security was light, possibly due to a jackknifed semi blocking all southbound traffic. At the airport, the large screens one would ordinarily loiter under to find one's flight were ominously dark, but considering the endless construction at SeaTac, I chalked this up to electrical work. I was only at the S gates that the extent of the problem became clear. Every screen in the area was dark, the TVs above the waiting areas, the multi displays directing travelers to gates, the monitors of the gate agents, and the gate info displays themselves. Though my boarding pass had directed me to a gate, there was no way to be sure that this was the correct one. So I checked with the agents there, they confirmed it, and I asked about the hat. It definitely is a bit of a show, the airline agents agreed, politely leading the same part of the word I had. All airport systems shared by multiple airlines were down, baggage handling, they said, we're getting the worst of it. The agents were ignoring their own baggage size rules and didn't bother collecting volunteers to gate check bags. So the gate desk was mostly offline. And they got a couple pictures here. That's a little sketchy, the little duct tape hanging, but at least they were trying to make it clear that, that is possibly your correct gate. The tablets for checking people in were working, but limited. Changing flights or seats were not happening. In situations where the digital infrastructure crashes, it can happen to those who cling to analog resources, look smarter rather than quaint. So I won't read through the whole thing, but it's just kind of walking through what the experience is like. Although it wasn't the worst, experience that you could possibly have with the hack occurring. I think the biggest piece that will probably frustrate most people is not knowing where your gate is, if your gate has been changed. If you travel, which most people do, that could be a big bummer, especially if it's just not you by yourself. Let's say you got your whole family with you, or maybe even kids, and you need to transport yourself from one gate to another in a matter of minutes in order to be able to board your flight on time. So I think that's probably the biggest annoyance. And then, of course, going into an airport and things being dark, no screens being present, the DNS, portion of the site being down. I think it's just more of a frustration. It didn't seem like he said, flights weren't stopped, runways weren't being double booked, but still, nonetheless, frustrating as a traveler. Even if you're a first time traveler, it could be pretty frustrating and overwhelming for you as well. So I thought that was good just to highlight the experience of someone who had to go through that airport since it has been compromised.
Yeah, that reminds me from well, not reminds me, it's kind of piggybacking off of what Greg and I talked about in the last week's episode about the CrowdStrike Microsoft thing. But really, when you think about, like, I used to support TSA. So I know that most of the time, well, I don't know what the separation is from what TSA governs versus the individual airport. So
Hmm.
I don't really know what that distinction looks like because I know on their network side that it's pretty much standard. Like, you're not gonna see much happening too much on TSA because it's a government network. But like I said, I don't know what the airports do. Like, I just know, like, the TSA employees versus then you got, like, Delta employees. It, the, it's the difference there. But while you were talking about the hack thing, I don't know if you saw through the notes. I was looking through stuff and articles last night, and I saw that there is a SQL injection that people could use to bypass some TSA stuff. And I want to say, and I can bring the article up too, but I want to say like this is the service that I think pilots, flight attendants, and somebody else uses because they do different things on how they get into the airport to the airplanes and things of that nature. But the people found out like a simple SQL injection could let them add anybody they want to in the database and bypass that. So let me share that real quick. I'm not gonna read all that either.
I just have a quick comment on that. A lot
No,
of the
go ahead.
times when these are found, like these vulnerabilities, like and someone notifies the company, I want to understand more like why they don't do anything about it when they're told that this vulnerability is present. I don't know if that's the case here, but I've been throughout reading articles, I see that a lot. They're like, well, we hit them up, we told them what was going on. They had no comment, they did nothing. And then boom, fire.
Yep. Let me see. But also, I think because there's a accepted risk, or they just don't want to, let anybody know
Acknowledge
about
it.
that.
Yeah.
So right here it says researchers find SQL injection to bypass airport TSA security checks. So researchers Ian Carroll and Sam Curry discovered a vulnerability in Flycast, a third-party web-based service that some airlines use to manage the known crew member program and the cockpit access security system. KCM is a transportation. Spell all these things out. KCM is a TSA initiative that allows pilots and flight attendants to skip security screenings, and CAS enables authorized pilots to use jump seats in cockpits when traveling. The KCM system, operated by ARINC, a subsidiary of Collins Aerospace, verifies airline employees' credentials through an online platform. The process involves scanning a KCM barcode or entering an employee number and cross-checking with the airline's database to grant access without requiring a security screening. Similar, the CAS system verifies pilots for cockpit jump seat access when they need to commuter travel. Every time I read how certain processes are, I always think about a threat actor that could try to do something with this information and just like, okay, this how it works. I'm just going to find a pilot and I'm going to get all the information from them and I'm like I'm flying the plane. I'm going to take the plane over. So I don't know if they probably think about that stuff too, but that's kind of thing. I guess I watch too many movies.
No, that's literally the first thing that came to my head. When the title of the article had me feeling like this is like the worst thing ever. This could be like it is a huge security risk, but in terms of national safety.
Right. The researchers discovered that FlyClass's login system was susceptible to SQL injection, a vulnerability that enables attackers to insert SQL statements for malicious database queries. By exploiting this flaw, they could log in as an administrator for a participating airline, Air Transport International, and manipulate employee data within the system. They added a fictitious employee, test only, and granted this account access to KCM and CAS, which effectively allowed them to skip security screening and then access the cockpits of commercial airliners. Anyone with basic knowledge of SQL injection could log into this site and add anyone they wanted to. KCM and CAS allowing themselves to both skip security screening and then access the cockpits of commercial airliners. So this was on the 29th, and he says in April, at SAM WCYO, whatever that stands for, now discovered a way to bypass airport security via SQL injection in the database of crew members. Unfortunately, DHS ghosted us after we disclosed the issue, and the TSA attempted to cover up what we found. So that's why one of your answers right there, like,
Yeah, they don't want nobody to know. Bye.
right,
We're gonna go
that
ahead
and
and fix that, and we're gonna kick it over there to the side. Shh, shh, don't tell nobody.
yeah, realizing the severity of the issue, the researchers immediately began a disclosure process contacting DHS on April 23rd, 2024. They decided not to contact the Flycast site directly as it appeared to be run by a single person and were afraid the disclosure would alarm them. DHS responded, acknowledging the seriousness of the vulnerability and confirmed that Flycast was disconnected from the KCM CAS system on May 7th, 2024, as a precautionary measure. Soon after, the vulnerability was fixed on Flycast. They should pay them. What's the
Period.
TikTok thing they're
Point
doing?
blank. Period. Run me my money.
Oh, Give me my money. I don't understand why, like, how that became like a
I
thing.
don't, man.
So I'm not gonna go through the rest of this. I'm gonna stop sharing it. You guys are, free to read that article, but it just shows you how the one thing that we always say, at least on the blue side of things, is the one thing attackers have on us that we don't is time. So if anybody is good and is a researcher, they can find that they're lucky those are researchers and they didn't try to
Right.
do anything for malicious intent. So this also goes back into like all the breaches and everything else. Like how often were these sites getting tested for compliance and not being able to, like SQL injection is one of like the oldest, but yet I think in attacks, it's always like in the top 5 or top 10 of attacks, like because people just forget about it. They just assume that nobody's going to try to use that archaic way or they can't be susceptible to that. Doesn't make sense, man. Use some input validation, please. But last night I was actually trying to find like one of the old Windows sounds or something. I was trying to find like a sound that lets us transition into like the next topic. I know a big one was I think I still got some. I don't know if everybody still works there or not, but I know I had some family that used to work at Halliburton, and I saw you had the Halliburton thing on there. I think I shared it
Yes.
either on. I think I shared it on Instagram and Twitter.
Let's pull it up. Okay. Halliburton shuts down systems after cyber attack. So, oil drilling and fracking giant Halliburton said it shut down some of its internal systems following a cyber attack earlier this week. In a brief statement, I'm going to click on this because it's actually going to open up their 8K, and this is what they reported. So, they said on August 21st, Halliburton became aware that an unauthorized third party gained access to certain of its systems. When the company learned of the issue, the company activated its cybersecurity response plan and launched an investigation internally with the support of external advisors to assess and remediate the unauthorized activity. The company's response efforts included proactively taking certain systems offline to help protect them and notifying law enforcement. The company's ongoing investigation and response includes restoration of its systems and assessments of materiality. Then they just said that they're communicating with their customers and stakeholders, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it says Halliburton, which has close to 48,000 employees in dozens of countries per company filings, is one of the world's largest energy companies. The U.S. energy giant is widely associated with the massive oil spill caused by the Deepwater Horizon oil rig explosion in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010, in which they agreed to settle with the U.S. government for $1.1 billion. The U.S. Department of Energy spokesperson Jeremy Ortiz said in a statement that there are no indications that the incident is impacting energy services at this time, and DOE is coordinating with interagency partners. So that's really all the article really talks about. But I thought it was important to highlight, obviously, a different industry. I know all year we've been talking about healthcare, 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 but now we're kind of seeing cyber attacks, kind of make their way into different sectors. This one being energy, which we know is very, very, very crucial to um, how the world, runs around. So that's the one I have there. But I also have a follow up for that one about the government issuing a um, advisory for the ransomware group that they are blaming to be responsible for that attack. Let's see. Here we
And
go.
why you get that up? It was funny that you brought up pretty much something that's attacking energy because that's one of the things that
Scariest.
politicians and everyone have been like really trying to hanker down on what are we going to do because we know these other countries are attacking our energy grids and everything else and trying to shut us down. And they see it all the time. I got a friend that works with DOE. Every time something happened with DOE, I'm always sending it to her. I'm like, Hey, they better get on it. You can't afford for important critical infrastructure. You can't afford to be behind on technology you need to stop the threats. Like you have to be a little bit proactive. People's lives are in danger.
No, for sure. Just think about if what happened in Texas, if that happened all over the US with the power grid going out in the middle of winter. It was insane. Had to be there. What a time to be alive. Okay, US government issues advisory on ransomware group blamed for Halliburton's cyber attack. So Halliburton is considered the world's second largest oil service company. While no technical details were made public, the incident response steps described by the company suggested that it may have been targeted in a ransomware attack. Why do we think that? Because they took their systems offline? Because that's really all that they said. But in the 8K is what I'm referencing. So it says since the incident came to light, there have been several unconfirmed reports that Ransom Hub is behind the incident, including from reputable ransomware researcher Dominic Alvareri. On Reddit, a few anonymous individuals mentioned Ransom Hub being behind the attack, with one claiming the data was stolen and that the cyber criminals had been demanding a $45 million ransom. Bleeping Computer also reported on Thursday that Ransom Hub is behind the Halliburton attack based on some indicators of compromise. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a signature to that threat group. So Ransom Hub's leak website does not mention Halliburton at this time of writing, which suggests that if they are indeed behind the attack, they are still in negotiations with the company. Halliburton has not made public any information beyond its initial statement and SEC filing. Security Week has reached out to the company for confirmation that it was targeted by the Ransom Hub ransomware group and will update this article if the company responds. The cybersecurity agency CISA, the FBI, and HHS, and the Multi State Information Sharing and Analysis Center on Thursday published a joint advisory detailing Ransom Hub attacks. The advisory describes the tactics, techniques, and procedures used in Ransom Hub attacks and shares IOCs that can be used to detect and prevent intrusions. According to the government agencies, the Ransom Hub operations has encrypted and exfiltrated data from at least 210 victims since its inception in February of this year. So it says Ransom Hub's Tor based leak website currently lists 180 victims, but the US government is likely aware of additional. The government advisory mentions that Ransom Hub victims are from various critical infrastructure sectors, including water, IT, government services and facilities, healthcare, emergency services, financial, food and agriculture, commercial facilities, critical manufacturing, communications, and transportation. So, yeah, just a little bit of more information about who could be possibly behind that attack. And then, based on why do they think that? Based on those indicators of compromise. And like I said, those are just like signatures um, for a bad actor, like something that they're known to do. What are your thoughts?
Trying to put the glasses on. Um, I think they're too late. Like they're always late. It's like they always catch them after the fact, like after the damage is done. So it's just I don't
45
know.
million is steep.
Yeah, I call it job security. That's every time I see a breach or something happen, I call it job security. And 9 times out of 10, I bet the people that's in this hacking group didn't go to school. They didn't work help desk.
Yep.
I bet they didn't do all that type of
They
stuff.
didn't go get the security plus.
Mhm.
They
No,
didn't do a boot
actually,
camp.
now while we were doing that, I'm going into the next segment. There are people that believe there's only one way to get into security. So pretty much, I made this post on LinkedIn about I had an interesting back and forth about getting into cybersecurity. I'm going to show you guys what spawned that LinkedIn post, and then actually let's do this. Let's look at the LinkedIn post first, and then go into the back and forth. So I said I had an interesting back and forth in my YouTube comments from a viewer. The premise of the argument was that cybersecurity is not entry level and that you cannot skip help desk to get into cyber. I assured him that although a lot of roles are not entry level in cyber, you can indeed get into cybersecurity without doing help desk. Now I'm about to stop right there because everything else is conjectured and my opinion. Let's go to the comments so I can actually show you guys verbatim. So I want to share this tab instead. So for context, this was on my episode with Aria. I think it's like 300K cybersecurity GRC specialist or something like that. And a random thing, something used to do a video on how cybersecurity is not entry level role in tech. And I said that's not a totally true statement, but I've discussed that topic before. And then he says, when people want to win an argument, they're going to try to make some type of straw man argument. Bro, cybersecurity is not an entry level role. This is not transparent. This is disingenuous. Multiple cybersecurity professionals has covered this topic. And I'm going to interject right there. I don't care what everybody else says. That don't mean it's right. That is like playing in the NBA without even playing high school ball. Some people will hit the lottery, but most will not be able to be hired without having experience and at least help desk. You are tripping, fam. I literally had this conversation with the lead cybersecurity engineer at my job. We are one of the largest private banks in the world. And I don't know why he brought up banks. I know about certain banks, yeah, they got some good stuff going on, but a lot of them don't. I have a bridge in Brooklyn for anyone that thinks they can land a cybersecurity job with no experience, no bachelor's degree in tech. You can't protect, govern, or set up compliance protocols for something you don't understand. And this right here is, I call it a form of gatekeeping. Because after we kind of go through this back and forth where he just was being very staunch on this point, and then he says, "Oh, what makes me sad is I'm seeing many black tech influencers telling their viewers that they can walk off the street and get a cyber role with no experience. You are going to get your resume thrown out if you're lucky enough to get an interview. They're going to cook you."
Okay, pause real quick. He must have watched none of our videos because what that's not what we say at all. So he's confused, first of all.
Yeah. And I'm not going to read all our stuff because people can go back and watch this, what's called for tech. Because I told this guy, I said, I actually want him to come on one day so I can slice and dice what he's saying. Because I never was disagreeing with what he was saying in general, but I was like, you're not adhering to my point either. When I'm saying, hey, the exception does not make the rule, but the exceptions happen. But that's why I say if an intern can do certain roles, that means there are some roles that could be entry level. And this is where his first mistake was. He says a lot of insurance require, say it with me, a college degree, or at least for you to be enrolled in if you don't have experience. The cybersecurity Reddit group that's filled with verified professionals have made it very clear. I don't know if the people are verified or not. This is a discussion I was having with Lee. He was showing, so this how they hiring people. I say, bro, I don't know if these people really work there or not. They don't have no real pictures or no real names on there. I don't know if these people got jobs or not. Anybody can go on Reddit and say they do something for somebody. And the funny thing is cybersecurity is not an entry level role. Cybersecurity is like a subset of like IT. So there are different roles in cybersecurity. It's not just it's a running joke on Twitter called I want to be a cybersecurity. That's a running joke, which whenever maybe Diera comes on, we can laugh about it. But you can't skip past tech support, help desk, system admin, various network roles, and jump straight into security. This is like me expecting to play for the Clippers after doing runs at the local LA Fitness. Like, that's a false equivalency. Nobody would think they would go from running ball at LA Fitness to going to the league. Like, and a lot of people argue with me in bad faith because I don't think they understand that, hey, over the last 4 years, I've talked to so many people trying to get into cybersecurity, and I do these consults all the time. So when I'm making a point, it's not me just talking, it's me letting people know that, hey, I talked to many different people. All these people got in different ways. Everybody's skill set was not the same. I've gotten people who went from being in physical therapy to being a SOC analyst. They didn't work help desk. So I don't say, hey, everybody's going to have to go work help desk. I tell some people they may need to if they just need some experience and they don't feel like, if you don't go help desk route right away, then you're going to have a really good strategy to get past that. So that's what I tell people. And to be honest, every help desk isn't technical. And so sometimes you are working there and you're not learning nothing to make you transition into cybersecurity anyway. But that's a subject for another day. Of course, we know internships require you to at least be enrolled in school. That's why he's not really making a point.
But I just feel like that's not what we say. We're not who he's trying to make it out to be in the comments of whatever of that video. It's just that's not what you give.
Exactly. But
And
that's why
we've
I think he
already
just won't
broken
come in
it
'cause
down a million times, a million different ways. You can go the boot camp route, you can go the school route, you can go YouTube
Mhm.
University. Like we've already talked about that.
Yeah.
And we've also
So
acknowledged
I'm
that
I'm reading this for educational purposes because
yeah.
people like him will detract people from getting in because I didn't even bring up in this conversation, like you do realize there's people with high income skills, high transferable skills from other industries that don't have to work help desk to get into cybersecurity. That's why it's kind of like stupid that you're wanna down the hill of everybody got to go through help desk. No, they don't. Let's see. It's another thing too. Like that's a fallacy bringing up the degree point because like just because you have a degree doesn't mean you got experience. Which is why initially I brought
Yeah,
up
me.
if an
Hello?
intern can do the job, that means it's entry level.
Me. Got the degree, no
So,
experience. So what are you, huh? I still had to start somewhere. And what I was able to start with was entry level.
like this stuff was funny. Uh, so I said, and then I try to give him like an olive branch. So I'm like, I don't think either one of us are wrong. There are more jobs that aren't entry level cybersecurity, but there are some that are 0 to 2 years. Yeah. So he says, this was funny. I said, exceptions to the rule, and you can act like there aren't. That's the whole point I was making. Maybe I don't do hope strategies. That's not a hope strategy if I have tangible evidence of this. Like I said, that exception doesn't make the rule, but it still happens. That's that. So I'm gonna go back to this post, and I'm just gonna go right here. The real gatekeepers are the powers that be that make people who are willing to get in the industry go through so much BS that they stop wanting to be in cyber altogether. And so it this is on my time in the comments. This stuff is all a business from going to school, to getting certs, boot camps, these requirements, everything's a circle. There's always going to be some form of I don't even know what word I want to use, but there's always going to be a way that you have to do something to get in.
Yep.
Because think about it, if the company said, "Hey, you don't need none of this, so we just want people that want to work," there would be no more Comptias, IC squareds, EC councils. All these different companies will not exist anymore, and these are probably like $1 million multi-million-dollar companies now just because of certs alone. Like Comptia been in business alone just from the government because they struck that deal with them. Y'all really think? And don't get me wrong, there's some good value and knowledge in the certifications, but if it wasn't for the government, what y'all think would be happening with Comptia? I'm just
Um,
to be honest, like that's one thing that you
it
always see
would
on most of the
definitely be
jobs. That's
burnt
happening.
out for sure.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, it low key kind of is burnt out, but the government having that be a requirement to have a job with them is keeping that CompTIA, you know, dream alive.
Right. And ironically, while he was talking about you gotta go help this, there's a young woman, I think she's like 25. She got her Sec Plus not too long ago. She said she applies for like 40, 60 jobs a day, and she was able to land a compliance analyst role. No experience, but Sec Plus. So, like, it's doable. Like I said, everybody is not going to be her, but it's doable. So it's not a hope strategy either. The key word that he forgot is strategy. Most people don't have a strategy to get in.
Yep.
That's why they're going that route. But I have people that come to me from help desk all the time because they can't get out.
Because a lot of people do get stuck, especially people that look like us.
Hmm. So people were feeling this post. I got what almost 20,000 impressions, and my God, these are real cybersecurity professionals right here. He was actually the director of Yahoo, which he needs a role. I should refer him to your company. But he's dope. And Sean said, I'll say this, and this has long been my opinion. There are no entry level roles in cybersecurity, but there are entry level positions. Good leadership will build a program that allows for entry-level individuals to come in to have space to build experience in a skilled role, especially because those individuals bring with them new perspective, ideas, ways of viewing the world, and that is incredibly valuable.
Well put, Sean. I like you.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. I got a guy in the comments that went from a policeman to working in the SOC. Here he is right here. I went from being a police officer to a SOC analyst in 1 year. This notion of you have to work 3 to 5 years to help desk or be an expert on networking and servers is not only outdated, but gatekeeping in a way. Everyone has a role to play. A point guard doesn't have to learn the center position in order for the team to function.
Period. He ate.
Yeah. Let me see if we have some any other one stuff. That's one of our past clients too. I do agree you can bypass help desk against cybersecurity, but however, I'm glad I did not. A lot of people want to skip the foundational work for the payday. I understand, but in general, it seems the best guys in cyber has done help desk. And I'm an experienced
Why
believer
are
in the
we
fairness.
equating cyber to help desk? Why? It's a stepping
Um,
stone. Like I don't like that.
I don't.
It's
Well,
not
I
even
think I don't
cyber.
like the fact. I just don't like the fact that we are saying one role into a whole like industry.
That's
Like
what
they're
I'm
never saying
saying.
a certain
That's
role.
literally like it's not apples to apples. It's not even oranges to oranges.
So this person, oh yeah, she actually gonna be on the show this week coming up. Cyber engineer never touched the help desk. I think it's a valuable experience and can contribute possibly toward your overall understanding of the field, but I can 1,000% guarantee you it's not a requirement.
Same, sis.
So there's another chick. I think she skipped past that. Let me see if I'm trying to load any more interesting things because I see everybody a point. Like I said, um, Thomas was a person that had no technical background. I think he currently was finishing school, so he wasn't going to be in an internship. So when I tell people, if you ain't getting an internship and you got all this other stuff, just go get you some experience some type of way. Now, that's the way that I tell people to do that because, hey, it's going to be harder for you sometimes unless you are, like, if you're childish and ain't got no family and nothing like that, and you down to network and do all this other stuff, you can get in too. But sometimes you got a family and other stuff going on. You got to pay some bills and lead the job you currently at. She said, I love this. Had an interview for a help desk position, and they told me it takes 2 years long to get a security role. Turned down the offer for a network security position a few weeks later. Different strokes for different folks.
Especially in 2024. She ate too. Ooh.
This might be a good comment. It's hard for people to see that cybersecurity is a multifaceted. When a majority of people trying to break into cybersecurity are advertising their skills and efforts and red team skills, and the majority of the cyber leaders are preaching the necessity of certifications to help their skills. There's more to cyber than penetration testing and basic troubleshoot skills. If you're stuck trying to figure out, yeah, I like that one. This right. There's no job called cybersecurity entry level, but there are entry level, mid level, and advanced level jobs cybersecurity. Example of entry level tier 1 cybersecurity jobs are cybersecurity specialists, information security specialists, IT security specialists, cyber forensics analysts, IT information. See, there she go. Look, putting them on game. And I'm gonna try to find one more if it really interests me. Don't share it. But and people gotta realize if you think you're just gonna comment in my comment section and I ain't gonna engage with you, I'm gonna do it every single time. Every single time. Because people are always saying stuff in there. And it give me content to talk about. So keep commenting, y'all. I love the engagement. Ironically, funny enough, that particular episode, my guest sent me a screenshot of something that somebody DM'd her on Twitter talking about some. Either you were, what she said, you did really good, or you were over prepared for the interview, something like that. It was like a backhand compliment. I was like, this is crazy. I said that guy probably just likes you. I was like, it reminds me of the guys that when we were little, you didn't know how to tell a girl I like you.
So you
You
go
would
push
just
her.
hit her and run or pick on her. I was like, that's what they remind me of.
No, for real.
This video is being sponsored by TechTual Consulting. Are you still struggling to get into cybersecurity? Are you not getting interviews? Do you have a bad resume? Or is it all the above? Well, if that's you, then we got you covered at TechTual Consulting. My name is Henri Davis. I'm a career coach and a cybersecurity professional, and I've helped hundreds, maybe even thousands of people get into cybersecurity with my coaching and my content that you've seen in various places. Now, I specialize in specifically getting people in the blue team. That would be incident response or SOC analyst. I can cover everything from your entry level to your medium to your advanced skills and really help you outperform your resume. You don't believe me? Check out some of these testimonials that I've had from recent clients. So if you're interested, click the link in my bio, techtualconsulting.com/offerings to see what offerings that we have available for you. Now, back to the show. Shoot, but I know I was yapping. I bet you want to get into, actually, I think you covered all your talking points, didn't you?
I got one more.
Okay.
This is just really quick. It's about CISA and this new, what is this called? Here we go. So, ahead of mandatory rules, CISA unveils new cyber incident reporting tool. So, CISA has unveiled a streamlined service for reporting cyber incidents as CISA gears up for the new reporting requirements to take effect as soon as next year. The agency rolled out the CISA services portal this week, which features enhanced functionality, including integration with login.gov credentials. So the portal basically gives users the ability to save and update reports. They can share out reports with third parties and also search through what is in the current inventory so that they are able to basically share the knowledge of what's going on when it comes to a cybersecurity incident. And so it says in a statement, Jeff Green, which is their executive assistant director for cybersecurity, said any organization experiencing a cyber attack or incident should report it for its own benefit and to help the broader community. CISA and our government partners have unique resources and tools to aid with response and recovery, but we can't help if we don't know about an incident. Sharing information allows us to work with our full breadth of partners so that the attackers can't use the same techniques on other victims and can provide insight into the scale of an adversary's campaign. CISA is excited to make available our new portal with improved functionality and features for cybersecurity reporting. And so it does say while the incident reporting is voluntary today, it is important as they are preparing to implement the landmark Cyber Incident Reporting for Critical Infrastructure Act, which will require organizations across all 16 critical infrastructure sectors to report serious incidents to CISA within 72 hours and ransomware attacks within 24 hours. So these proposed rules were released in March, and the law requires CISA to final a rule by October 2025. So it's really there to kind of help streamline things, and I just wanted to highlight that. I know a lot of the times when we're talking through articles, we do tend to pull up like the 8K, which is that notion of them having to report what's going on. So this is really to kind of help streamline the process for them. I don't know how I feel about it because like something in the back of my head feels like, okay, what if that system gets compromised and then that's just a cluster F word of stuff going on because there's way too much data in there about all of these sectors that are crucial to, making our lives easier and our days go around. So I see how they're trying to streamline it, but at the same time, what if that system gets compromised? So that's my only like who's securing it, who's protecting it, what controls system tools, what vendors. This is like a lot you got to think about there.
Right. Who's policing the police? And you know what? I forgot to talk about one of the biggest topics that I actually found it from shout out to Shanae, the recruiter cousin. She posted it on her story, and I was like, I gotta cover this on the episode. And it is this right here. This is crazy, y'all. A
Oh,
woman was
bye.
found dead in her cubicle 4 days after last clocking in. Dang, that lady was 60. She my dad age. She wasn't that old. Police in Tempe, Arizona are investigating after a Wells Fargo employee was found dead in her cubicle 4 days after she last scanned into the building. 4 days? I wonder, when did she die?
It had to have been over the
The Tempe
weekend. I
police.
think it was over the weekend. Like a Friday in like a situation like that. Cause I seen it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, did she die the day she clocked in, or what? That's like, I wonder, like, what they gonna say with the autopsy. The Tempe Police Department responded to the office on August 20th after being notified by building security. Her cause of death has not yet been determined. The preliminary investigation did not show any obvious signs of foul play. Boot home scanned into the building in the morning of Friday, August 16th. Her body was found on August 20th in the third floor cubicle, and she was pronounced dead at 4:55, according to the authorities. Now, is this just a office where?
I want to give some
uh,
insight because I used to work at Wells Fargo and I know that that's one of their hubs. And from what our desks were looking like when we were there, I could see next door. Like I could see across from me, in front of me, behind me. So I don't know if they had the more higher cubicles where you can't
Mhm,
see, which could be the case, but I just think that's crazy,
right.
insane.
And so I went back to last month. So the 16th was a Friday, 17th was a Saturday, 18th was a Sunday. So me and tell me nobody seen on the 19th?
On that Monday.
Yeah,
But
so that's
no,
what I'm trying to
it
figure out. Like,
says there that it was in a low populated, where is it? Was in an underpopulated part of the building, and colleagues were informed of her death after her family was notified. But it's the building being lowly populated does not mean that security should not still be going through to making sure that somebody ain't living there. Okay. One. And two, that something that shouldn't be going on is going on.
and if I'm trying to see if she, that's why I was like, did she die on that Friday? Because she logged in and she probably never logged out.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, who was checking those. But I know when I was working at Wells Fargo over the weekend, like let's say if we had to work like on that Saturday or something, there was no security. So you either
Hmm.
had your badge
There's
and you was
rarely
getting
security
in.
anywhere on the
Yeah,
weekend.
exactly. So
We are in the contact ensure they are well supported during a difficult time. The Wells Fargo spokesperson said counselors would be made available to support employees affected by the incident. Yeah, I mean, just a tough one. If I'm the family, though, I'm not gonna lie. We suing Wells Fargo
facts.
for the fact that, well, one, we had to get a good lawyer because it was like, do people work there on the weekend? Um, why was she there? Like, why didn't they discover her on Monday? Because I know for me, if they've been my family, I talk to my mom, if not every day, almost every other day. And if I can't get in contact with her, and then I can't get in contact with my dad, and then my siblings, I may just get on I-20 because I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I can't get in contact with them. Nobody's seen them. So I don't know if she had, did they say she had kids or anything?
I don't remember. I saw someone this morning, I think on TikTok, who was kind of breaking it down a little bit more. I don't remember, but I know that she said that the girl who was breaking the article down, she was saying that it did happen over a weekend, and that people at work were complaining of a like an odor, and so I think that's what caused them to maybe go investigate. But this is a friendly reminder to companies post COVID who may have office environments that are lowly populated during, a portion of the week or maybe indefinitely, but still keeping your eyes on those areas because you could end up in a situation like this or worse. Because who knows, like, what if she just needed, to receive like some medical attention?
No, I agree. I was over here on my Facebook trying to see if I could find Denise Pooh home, which I found a couple of them, but I don't know if that's her or not. It's a lot of them, so maybe I can find it on Google or something. But no, that's really crazy, man. Sorry for her family for having to deal with that, and just you think you're doing your job. That woman had every intention of going to work and leaving that same day. And so that's the other thing too. Is like on a Friday, how late is this person supposed to work? Like, were they the last person in the building? Like, there's so many questions I got going on for the situation. Like, if it's an underpopulated part of the office, maybe those people don't even need to be in office. If that's the case,
Okay, period.
like keep them at home. Obviously, like their
Especially
job
if
is
you're
like,
not gonna be patrolling, checking on their safety. That's the whole point of you being there.
right.
But like, there could have been someone living in the building.
Let me see, what is it?
Because clearly you can badge in and not badge out, and it not alarm any bells or whistles.
Okay, I had one. I had two posts. One of them I was going to talk about was bees stay going viral, but she was talking about it was just saying black people need to start using Claude
I put that
AI,
one on
Cursor,
there too.
ChatGPT, Gamma, Perplexity AI, Midjourney, more. And I can't find the post, but it was an article that showed us being behind in some other roles. It was just a lot of stuff, but it's not really. She posted a lot of good stuff. I'm not going through that. I'll probably pick another day to deep dive that one. But I'll actually pivot into quickly is, we are still getting hell about the WGU video.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people come in the comments all the time. It was a guy, like, he went out his way. I don't even know what site he used, but he said WGU was ranked higher than Louisiana Tech. And I don't know what site that is. People do. I hope you do know you can pay the right people to get your stuff ranked high. Just like on Forbes, like a lot of you see on Forbes, like the people are paid to be in Forbes. So I was just telling people, because obviously a lot of people didn't. They listened with what they wanted to hear. Because I was like, I went for different things, and most of the people, like, it was one guy was like, "Oh, well, I didn't have to use WGU for what did he say? He said something stupid to me." And I was like, "Bro, we were reacting to a video about WGU. What are you talking about? I didn't need to." Oh, he said, "I should have went and found a graduate of WGU." And I was like, I hope y'all don't understand, but most people I know that graduated from WGU, those people was already in the industry.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, I said comments really pressed on me critiquing their beloved WGU. I said the beloved part because it made people mad. Because they got mad at the thumbnail just because I said WGU is useless with a question mark. Let me see. So
Not the
one dude said, "You didn't
WGU
say nothing
warriors finna
crazy, but
jump you.
instead of using WGU to form content and speculate on the degree, why not just get a recent grad to share their experience? People are struggling to get jobs with CS degrees. It doesn't mean the degree is bad." And I was like, I wanted to tell them something else, but I just like, because the segment was specifically about WGU. And he was like, "Yeah, you could have just." I don't like when people try to tell me what I can do with my show. Go make your own show and you could do that.
On your channel.
He said you could reach out to a recent grad to provide insight if this was a planned segment. Recent grads that's unemployed or employed is all good content in my opinion. Cyber degrees are broad because it's a broad field. Even Georgia Tech, Maryland degrees are hella broad. And I'm like, well, first of all, the cyber degrees are fairly new. And also you won't see, like we talked about in the video, you won't see a lot of jobs that say you must need a degree in cybersecurity. So secondly, I was like, it was a reaction. I know people that finished up in WGU. And somebody said I smell of the ITT tech on the horizon. But nah, I mean, like I said, it's still a good school. I just think it's like, I just think it's too much for giving you have all them certifications. Because in one vein, I'm happy the young lady got a job with a security plus, but she also passed it with no experience. But so that's goes into the thing. What is experience? When we say what is experience, like if somebody can study and pass that test, one or two things need to happen. Either the standards are too high, or all the tests got to be changed to make sure people can practically pass it. That's the only way people can actually hold up their end of gatekeeping. Because if not, it's no reason to gatekeep. If I can go spend, like I said years ago, I passed it with no experience. The 301. That's a long time ago. I think they
Oh
were
my
701 now.
gosh, the 301. Lord.
Yeah, this was 2013.
Oh my goodness.
I never
I
renewed
teach
it
the
either.
701 right now.
Yeah,
And
so
that's the
like I
one I
never
gotta
renewed it.
renew, the 701.
I ain't renewing nothing. Nathan.
I'm gonna keep mine. I'm gonna renew mine for sure.
The only one I probably renew is whenever I would get CISSP. I would just keep that one current. But other than that, I'm not renewing nothing. But she was able to get a job, and she's probably gonna do well because all they do is take somebody that's willing to learn, and they'll do better than somebody who perceives that they know more than what they think they know.
Yeah, the security plus is if you got a little bit of knowledge on you, it's really not that difficult. And I don't mean to offend people who may be struggling to pass it, but if you have a little bit of experience or knowledge under your belt, you're going to take that exam and be like, wow, I've been overthinking this.
No, that's facts. But I think my last article that I wanted to cover, let me double check it. Yeah, this one was pretty cool. So I actually had shared this with a couple of friends the other day. It was what was it, Crabs on Security Week? One of those articles told me about this, but I thought this was pretty cool. New Voldemort malware abuses Google Sheets to store stolen data. So, a new malware campaign is spreading a previously undocumented backdoor named Voldemort to organizations worldwide, impersonating tax agencies from the US, Europe, and Asia. As per a Proofpoint report, the campaign started on August 5th, 2024, and has decimated over 20,000 emails. Disseminated, there we go, not decimated. Disseminated over 20,000 emails to over 70 target organizations, reaching 6,000 in a single day at the peak of its activity. Over half of all targeted organizations are in the insurance, aerospace, transportation, and education sectors. The third actor behind this campaign is unknown, but Proofpoint believes that most likely objective is to conduct cyber espionage. The attack is similar to what Proofpoint described at the start of the month, but involved a different malware set in the final stage. Okay, let me see if we can click on these. All right, so these is what let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Dang it. It ain't gonna let me do it. But anyway, if you file for this, you deserve to get got, dog. Because their name's not even in it. It says Dear Taxpayer. It says Dear Taxpayer. Like, if you file for this, you deserve to get slapped. So the phishing emails impersonate taxing authorities from the organization's country, stating that there is updated tax information that includes links to associated documents. Clicking on the links brings recipient to a landing page hosted on Infinity Free, which uses Google AMP cache URLs to redirect the victim to a page with the click to view document button. When the button is clicked, the page will check the browser user agent, and if it's Windows, redirect the target search for URI that points to a Cloudflare tunnel URI. Non-Windows users are redirected to an empty Google Drive URL that serves no malicious content. If the victim interacts with the PDF, the use of the search URI has become popular lately with phishing campaigns, as even though this file is hosted on external web, DAV SMB share, it is made to appear as if it resides locally in the downloads folder to trick the victim into opening it. Doing so executes a Python script from another web DAV share without downloading it to the host, which performs systems info collection to profile the victim. At the same time, a decoy PDF is displayed to obscure the malicious activity. The script also downloads a legitimate Cisco WebEx executable and a malicious DLL, Cisco Spark Launcher.dll, to load Voldemort using DLL sideloading. Voldemort is a C-based backdoor that supports a wide range of commands and file management actions, including exfiltration, introducing new payloads into the system, and file deletion. So we got ping, dir download. I'm not going to read all that stuff because this is for the people that's actually watching on YouTube. A notable feature of Voldemort is that it uses Google Sheets as a command and control server, pinging it to get new commands to execute on the infected device and as a repository for stolen data. Each infected machine writes its data to a specific cell within Google Sheets, which can be designated by unique identifiers like UUIDs, ensuring isolation and clear management of the breach systems. All right, so we got to do with this one. Voldemort uses Google's API with the embedded client ID, secret, and refresh token to interact with Google Sheets, which are stored in its encrypted configuration. This approach provides the malware with a reliable and highly available C2 channel and also reduces the likelihood of a network communication being flagged by security tools. As Google Sheets is commonly used in the enterprise, it also makes blocking the service impractical. In 2023, the Chinese APT41 hacking group was previously seen using Google Sheets as a command and control server through the use of red teaming GC2 toolkit. To defend against this campaign, Proofpoint recommends limiting access to external file sharing services to trusted servers, blocking connection to try Cloudflare if not actively needed, and monitoring for suspicious PowerShell execution. Yeah, that should be standard on a lot of EDRs and stuff like that.
That
It'll normally block that.
that script was jam packed with like a ton of chaos, like in like by an insane amount. And using Google Sheets is actually brilliant from their perspective. Like they
Hmm.
said, you're not thinking that that's going to be something malicious, because it's used so prevalently or can be used depending on your suite of tools. But that is important to block that external access and things like that. If it shouldn't be used on your network or in your environment, it should be explicitly blocked.
Right. I agree. Now, let's see. Hopefully, we can do this without me having to finesse it. You wanted to start with the surveillance mask as innovation?
Yeah, this one's really short.
Okay, let me try that. I'm going to try to share the audio this way. Let me pause it. And I want you to let me know if you can hear it when I do that. And if not, then I will open it in, what's that thing called? Edge. Okay, share audio.
I can hear
Were
it.
you able to hear that?
Yep.
You said you can?
Yeah, I can.
Perfect. Let me change my thing because it's coming through my speakers. There we go. All right, let's go. I'm going to make it big.
Your toaster doesn't need a touch screen. Your fridge does not need a touch screen. Your vacuum does not need to connect to Wi-Fi. All of these features seem very innovative, but they really aren't. These are just secret ways that these companies are collecting your metadata to sell or track you.
Very short, sweet, and to the point.
Yeah, I mean, she got a point. I mean, I'm not saying she wrong because I think they've been doing that. I think your phone been listening to you,
For
or
sure.
it's. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes you be thinking about something, it come right up. I don't know if it's a predictability algorithm or whatever. So
I don't think everything needs to be smart at all. Like, and if you do have nothing against you, if you have all these smart appliances, I just make sure they're on a different network, um, in your home because the security on those devices is not that strong. Um, they are able to be easily compromised, things of that sort. So you just want to keep that in mind. Like my dad and them, like they have a refrigerator that you can like put pictures on it, and I just be thinking all the time, like, what if one day they come home and it's just random pictures of people that are not them or messages or whatever the case may be? When you have those type of devices, then you do introduce those type of vulnerabilities in your environment. And then if they're
yeah,
able to get in the fridge and you got, I don't even know what could be hooked up to the fridge, maybe your debit card that's just ordering stuff for you. I don't know. The refrigerators get really fancy, but then that poses a vulnerability to your debit card, for example, if it were linked. I'm not saying it's linked. That's just an example. But you just open up a whirlwind of trouble when you have a million of those devices in the home.
yeah, and then a lot of people don't even know how to segment their network like that. Like you actually have to buy some networking equipment, get some people to put it up, and hopefully you got a networking closet. Like I only know a couple of friends that actually have that at their house.
Yeah.
So it is tough because I know a while back was that Nest, the Ring. One of them got hacked, and everybody was
I think it
like
was
talking through people's
Nest.
doorbells and stuff.
Yep. But even think about baby monitors too, like it's not just
Oh
the
yeah, my
refrigerator,
VTech is always
stoves.
like, "Oh, change your
Yeah.
password."
Yep.
So yeah, no, for
Yep.
sure. Let me. Where is it at? I think this was pretty funny.
If you ain't making more than $100,000 at your job, why are you ironing your clothes before you go to work? Let them know that you need a raise. Go in there in tattered garments and clothes. Don't bring a lunch. Let them know that you're hungry.
I thought that was hilarious.
That is funny.
But in all seriousness, you definitely should at least make sure you look presentable at work, no matter what you make.
No matter where you work, I'm telling you, ironed outfit will get you wrinkled outfit will get you treated differently than if that same outfit was ironed and clean, for sure.
Yep. Or if you don't want to iron, get you a wet towel, throw it in the dryer with your clothes, and let it steam your clothes.
Yep. Or you
Like,
can get
especially if you running
some
late.
of that little wrinkle releaser. My grandma loved that.
Yeah, if you running late, throw all that stuff in the dryer, get in the shower. By the time you out, you should be good to go.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
what my
not
uncle used
showing
to
up.
do.
But you know, people don't have irons in
Yeah.
2020. I done been to people's house and like, can I use your iron? They don't have one. What? You're
Were they Gen Z?
no. They be my age or older.
That's
They
crazy.
be millennials.
They act like their grandmother had a. Now, first of all, we was in an age where people made they starch, and your starch start your pants so tight and so hard, them things can stand up.
Okay.
My cousin, they was good for that starch. I used to ask my mom all the time, like, I want that starch like them.
I used to use starch when I was younger, especially for them creases. But yeah,
I use them
I
on certain
don't
pants.
I don't play. I will take a shirt off and iron it. Even if a dress, it doesn't matter. I'm not going out like that.
Shoot, hey, I don't think your socks feel good too. Don't they be warm? Warm drawers. You can put them on and go to sleep. Oh man. But there were some fun ones in there. I think this one. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure that I thought
You please do the next one right under that one.
Which one? The shorts?
Why would she wear that to that interview?
So I just got dress coded during an interview. And then they decided to reschedule the interview with me for tomorrow. But before they rescheduled, the lady was like, would you like to come back? Like go change and then come back? And I was like, no. These are the shorts. Let me turn to the side for y'all. These are the shorts.
I'm trying to see how she knew she had on shorts. Two,
It was in
even
person,
the
wasn't it?
t-shirt to me was too much. What happened?
I thought it was in person.
Might have been. I
She
ain't hear
should
that
have
part.
wore it regardless. Period. Like shorts, I could see if it was a skirt, but shorts is crazy.
Man, they was killing her in the comments. I found her real page and stuff like that. And it was like, you need to go shopping.
But I
'Cause it was like,
think though that it just goes to like how you were raised, because clearly no one told her that that was not in the interview attire. You know.
but you know, I think that she just don't know, period. Because the next thing she tried to throw on like some type of thing, I guess called like a tube dress, whatever that is.
No, I seen that. I seen that one next. Because why would I exactly? That goes to how she was raised. Someone didn't
It's student
tell her.
call center.
Yes, a
That's
whole
the stuff I
tube
used to
top
see
with a
girls wear.
blazer, sis. Come on.
Yeah,
And
I
it
used to see
wasn't
them wear.
even a blazer that was buttoned up to where you couldn't tell. Like if she moved too fast, that blazer was gonna whip in the wind, and you was gonna see that it was a tube top.
Yeah, they told her. They said a blouse and khakis. That's it.
That's literally it. Don't
Yeah, I
overthink
just
it. She
feel
could have
bad for
wore
y'all. They got
jeans
so
and
much
a
stuff y'all got to
blouse.
wear.
She really could have wore jeans and a blouse over those shorts.
Yeah, but I think honestly, plot twist. She didn't have an interview at all. That's what I think. She didn't have an interview at all, and she was just talking.
I
Let me
know
turn this
that
down.
as millennials and Gen Zs, we like to kind of push the line. I do for sure when it comes, but I'm not wearing shorts. Like I'm gonna put on a sneaker though. You can always count on me to have on a pair of sneakers. Bye. I'm gonna put on a sneaker. But I know when to put on the flat or the heel when it's appropriate as well. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we push the boundaries, but there are levels and limits to push those boundaries too.
Yeah, I think it depends. Like, cause like in person it's a little different. Like at home, I'm gonna give you either a little Goodfellas V-neck from Target for an interview, or a crew neck V-neck, or like a little button down. I ain't wearing no suits no more for stuff at home. Last time
I
I wore
dress up,
suits
but
in
I'm not
person, I
wearing
didn't get
the.
the job either.
I'm not doing the blazer, but I'm gonna have a nice blouse or a nice dress on for you for sure. I'm gonna look the part.
I'm gonna have on something decent. I ain't gonna be doing. See, the thing is though, you got to figure out because like in these tech jobs, these people don't never. These people be wearing regular clothes too. So I
You
never
show
try
up
to
with your
do too
suit on, and
much.
they got it on a t-shirt.
I did that a couple times. Like I said back in the day, like never again,
Yeah.
never again. I thought this one was pretty good. It's white collar work is all meetings now.
Ooh, white collar work is just meetings
Let's share that
now.
one.
Yes. They even say the meeting industrial complex, which I had never heard that term, but yes, yes, yes. In 2022, Microsoft researchers published a study that tracked workers using their software. About 1/3 of the workers in the study were as likely to work at 10 p.m. as they were at 8 a.m. Why? Official meetings replaced casual interactions and made it impossible for many people to get things done unless they logged back in after their meetings. Since 2022, workers in the study have tripled the time they spent in meetings. It sometimes seems as if the modern worker spends more time talking about work than actually working. I could talk about this forever. My experience over the last couple of years doing my computer job, the knowledge job, was that when I wasn't in meetings, I often was like, wait, what do I do? What is my job here? Because the meetings convince you that you are actually doing work and that I think it's all a performance. Here's a really interesting point. The typical meeting is what they call a leaky time suck because it's not just measured by how many hours you are in calls. On the front end, you have what they call a coordination tax, which is really invisible, and that is trying to get a hold of people, checking calendars, seeing when they're available to even meet. And then on the back end, you have the recovery from the meeting, that workers require an average of 25 minutes to return to their original task after an interruption. So when you think about it this way, a 30-minute meeting is, as at best, thought of as a 1-hour detour for the recovery. And then finally, another Microsoft study found that the typical worker spent 57% of their time communicating, meetings, email, chat, versus 43% of their time actually creating documents, spreadsheets, presentations. That's a good use of everyone's money and time.
I think it
What
depends
you
on your
think?
job. If you work on an agile environment, baby, the meetings ain't going nowhere. The meetings is going to meet every day, every week. You're going to have the same cadence. That's why I had to get out of that type of environment. But I will say, I do low key agree with her because I've the meetings, like she said, the follow up. What time are you available? Then you got to send out notes sometimes, depending on who you're meeting with. Then follow up questions. Just yeah, I
Yeah.
it does depend on your role too, but I do agree with her because I worked a
Eh,
job where I like hated the role because there were so many meetings. Like I felt like I had no time to work because I sat in meetings for like more than half of my shift.
No, I agree. Not only that, the meetings, you trying to pay attention in the meetings. Like I said, I was going to go to the doctor one day of like, I do this thing where if the meeting's not interesting to me, my body starts like telling myself, hey, think you're getting tired. And so a lot of times like they would want you to be on camera. I'm like, man, I can't be on camera just not contributing nothing if this ain't a meeting for me. This could have been an email. Add into the fact that certain places you can't even use AI to transcribe the meeting to give you the notes that you need to just pay attention to the real key points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, y'all got to get ahead with the times, bro. Like all these meetings ain't called for,
Yep.
which is why I like my AI stuff. Like I get it. I ain't talking about nothing like super important. And that's why they should use ActiveScribe because they don't keep your data. You just transcribe it and go. So
What do you think
I don't
about
know.
what do you think about like have you been in a role where you had so many meetings where you weren't able to really you didn't have enough time to do your work?
Kinda. I think JP Morgan got like that sometimes. Where I was in like meetings every day. I had the daily stand up. You got any impediments, and then you get these other meetings that like you have like 4 or 5 meetings a
Scrum,
day.
project management.
Then you really like she said, like I'm over there trying to figure, okay, what am I supposed to do? What am I working on? Like asking all these different questions of what I'm supposed to do. And then, but I was smart enough. By the time I did JP Morgan, I was in my career long enough. Like, you know what? I'm not going to finish this stuff fast. I'm going to milk it every day.
But I feel like
So,
also in this culture and era of meetings and all that, people are multitasking so much that we can't even function on or focus on one thing at a time. Like we're like, oh, could you repeat that? How many times have you said
mhm,
that in a meeting? How many times has someone asked you that? Oh, sorry, I was multitasking. Can you repeat that? Because time is of the essence. And like you said, if you sit in that meeting and you just got to be there because there's some team stuff, but you're not directly contributing, and you got a report that's due or whatever, a deliverable, and you're trying to get that done on the back end,
mhm.
you kind of have that there. But
Yeah.
meetings can definitely boggle
The
you
funny thing
down.
is, when I just thought about the AI thing, all the person got to do is just put the thing on speaker and let the AI thing record and they transcribe it. I'm like, look, y'all got it. I'm finna look what this thing said, and that's how I'm paying attention to that versus listening to you. That's what
That's
I'm
one
gonna
of
do.
the positive focuses of AI is giving you the action items, follow-up tasks based
Mhm.
off what y'all discussed, instead of you not being able to listen in the meeting because you're taking notes, right?
No, I agree. I agree. I think we got. I don't think we're gonna go into the AI one. We kind of covered that already. Um, this was a good one. My guy Kyrie was talking about the cybersecurity boot camps at colleges.
You know those cybersecurity certificate programs that universities are providing? In my opinion, these are the same things as doing a boot camp with like any social media cybersecurity creator that has a boot camp. The only difference is this boot camp, you're getting the name of whatever university you're doing the boot camp through, and you get a certificate of completion. Now, boot camps are not bad. Boot camps are a way to structure information so that you can learn the skills that you need in order to have the capabilities to perform within a specific industry, in this case, cybersecurity. But what I'm trying to tell people is that education and career acquisition are two different things. And the biggest problem that I see when I do my consultations with people is that they think that because they have a bachelor's degree or because they did a boot camp or because they have XYZ certification or because they have a master's degree, that that automatically qualifies them to have a job. And the mentality aspect to this problem is that people think that it's a linear process. People think, okay, education and then job. But the thing is, you need to start viewing your career acquisition process as a business. What does every business need to make money? Marketing and sales. I can be the most knowledgeable plumber on the East Coast of the United States. I can read every book about plumbing, how to insulate plumbing, different types of pipes, different materials that are used for different types of pipes for different use cases. But if I don't get in front of the right people in the right way at the right time and say the right things, my plumbing business will never get off the ground. I can know that I'm a really good plumber, but if I don't position myself in the market as a really good plumber, how are other people supposed to know? I think one of the other big problems that I'm seeing right now is certification stacking, like just for the sake of having certification. Again, certifications aren't a bad thing. They're just a piece of paper that says this person has been exposed to this information. And that's the same thing with a college degree. A college degree is a piece of paper that says this person has been exposed to this information and they have been tested on this information. But the career acquisition process is, okay, how can I take the information that I've been exposed to and tested on and apply that to a business in a way that is going to be valuable for that business? That is a separate process. And that's the process that schools, boot camps, and these other programs aren't going to teach you about. This is why my cybersecurity career coaching isn't based on teaching you cybersecurity. I can send you over to Professor Messer to learn cybersecurity. If you want to learn cybersecurity, go and do a 4-year degree in cybersecurity or computer science, or go and take your Security Plus certification or your CYSA Plus, or like there's free ways and other ways to learn cybersecurity. But the problem isn't a lack of educational resources. The problem is people don't know how to take those educational resources and apply them in a way that's actually going to seal the deal in terms of getting them a job.
He ate and left no
He always
crumbs.
like, I gotta text
Sprinkles.
him too because he's supposed to come in person. Like, I gotta text him. But nah, he said a lot because I remember 2021, SMU started having their cybersecurity boot camp and they was looking for teachers. And I talked to them briefly about that. And he's right about that. Like the only difference is one is latching on to a college, but it's technically a different boot camp.
Just because
And
they
I
got a
agree.
good program don't mean they gonna have a good boot camp either.
True.
Like, let's start and end there. You might be
True.
good at the program. SMU has a good cyber program, but I can't speak to that boot camp. Doesn't necessarily mean that the boot camp is going to be the same vibes.
No, I agree. And like you said, he's right. I tell people all the time in my consults, learning the skills, all this information is the easiest part. Now, the hardest part is going to be the job search process, selling yourself and getting an offer. That's going to be harder than that. Because like he said, I could send you to do Security Blue Team or Josh Matacor's course or Google Cybersecurity certification or certificate, whatever you want to call it. I could send you to go do all those things too. That's easy because I know just go do that. The hard part is taking the skills you learn, stringing them together, making the person that you're interviewing with believe in you enough to hire you and give you a job. That's the hard part. So he's right. That's why when you do the search and degrees thing, it depends on who you ask. Like certain companies say, hey, you need this. Certain companies say you don't need this. And I run into where I got clients, but they are having issues because they ain't got the degree. Like they got the experience, but they didn't get the degree. So I'm like, if you got the experience now, go ahead and just do WGU because you can finish it in like 2 months. That's the part of people that leave out about WGU. It's like any school you can finish that fast is literally just for a checkbox. Like call a spade a spade. But yeah, so to piggyback on boot camps, like the only thing you want to look for is like, okay, based on what they're teaching me, does it line up with the jobs that I eventually want to land? Because sometimes these boot camps are just teaching some stuff that you can find already in Sec Plus and acting like they're teaching you something and it's really not. And so when I start looking at the stuff you did there, I was like, bro, like I did a consult with a young lady. Somebody told me about her. No, she said somebody told her about me at like, I guess Mixer Cloud or something. She can remember their name. And we was talking about, she did this GRC bootcamp. I'm not going to say the name just because I don't even know if they still in business. I haven't seen them in a while, their name in business in a while. But anyway, I looked at their resume. I said, oh, I see the play. They took some senior level stuff, change, like left your job the same, but changed it and threw that stuff on there. And she was like, I'm not getting interviews. I don't understand this stuff. We really feel like we, wasted our money because what they promised is kind of like not what we got out of it, which is, it sucks in general. So I had to kind of direct her to resources first and then show her like, hey, well, this is how you could, if this is a job you want to look, this is how you find these jobs. This is how you find the people that work at the companies. This is how you do this, how you do this. Like, just simple stuff that they aren't, like you said, they aren't showing you. They're not showing you how to get to the career part, and which I think that's what's like, there should be an added course in there. I might pitch that to LA Tech. Hey, I've successfully helped all these people. Let me pitch this course to you. I got a master's. I ain't got my doctorate. I should be able to teach your students.
No, for sure. You don't even have to have a what's the name? I just did a video about if you should drop out of that cybersecurity boot camp, and I feel like what we're talking about, these are all things that you need to consider before you do the boot camp. Like you need to sit down and think about, what am I gaining? How much is this costing me? How much of my time am I sacrificing? What is the end goal? What are the people that have graduated from this boot camp, what are they doing? Where are they
What are
landing
the real people
jobs?
doing?
Exactly. What resources are they? This boot camp, a lot of the times they'll be like, we'll help you with your resume. But if you're not putting that pressure on them to actually help you if they're not helping you, then you're not getting, your investment in terms of what it is that you pay for. So that's a good video to check out for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But now we towards the end. I think we got into a lot of topics today, which I'm happy about.
This was a meaty one.
Yeah. We had to do this one. Everybody's so far quiet in there. And I wanted to open up the show with this, but I'll just bring it up here for the people, because I don't know when it's dropping, but I got to go see Nightcap in person.
Is that the scary one?
No, Nightcap with Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp.
Last night. Okay, yeah. How was it?
It was good. You didn't see my stories?
No, I did. That's why I just dropped my memory. Yep.
Yeah, you should. That part of the segment is wild for that part. But no, it's cool. I went because I was like I said, I initially want to do some live stuff, and I got some ideas of like different segments of like, I thought of like a cool segment. Like if depending on how much the crowd is, to say if it's somebody that's wanting to get a job, we could do a segment like if we have a real recruiter there or something like, all right, yeah, we can do like a mock recruiter screening. Let's pick 2 people out of here and get them up there. They do that. Just some stuff that had an audience involved, and then bring like, depending on where it's at, certain people in the city had them come in. So I kind of got some ideas of some stuff that I want to do, which is a whole basis for me going. So hopefully I can go to some more live podcast things. I'm mad like Roy and Maul not coming to Dallas, because I would definitely like to see them like in person too, see how their flow is and stuff like that. That's how you get good, guys. You study. Like people always ask me, hey, how you stay doing all this content stuff? How you do it? I study. Like even like outside of what we recording on, I'm going through, okay, what lens I need, how to hook the viewers better, how to talk better, and what can I do to spice it up. I looked at my metrics. I said, hey, most of my longer podcast videos did very well, even though the hour ones do okay. But like people like the almost 2-hour joints where I premiere it. Like it just seems like that's performing well. It seems like that's what YouTube is pushing out. So I'm always studying. That's what you gotta do. Study, research. Like even before you come to me, research. Because that's the thing too I deal with in consults. It's like of course, I've did so many of these consults, I know where I could take it, but I say it's much easier if you got some things you want me to answer for you. If not, I'm gonna have to take you through the whole spiel of what you want to do and this and that. And like I have people that's like, I didn't even think about doing that. I was like, yeah, you got the skill set to go right into this field right here. Like, why are you trying to do all this?
Yep. Helping people
Like,
realize things that right in front of their eyes.
trying to see. Before we go, do you got your movie that you got on your mind that you've been thinking about?
Man, I've been so freaking busy. A movie that has been on my mind. Yes, Bustin' Loose. I don't even know. Have I already talked about Bustin' Loose for Richard Pryor
Mm-mm.
and Cicely Tyson? So basically, Richard Pryor is like a convict that just got out and he's like on parole, and the judge basically tells him that he has to drive these kids on these group of special needs children like down somewhere on a road trip, and the kids were just off the chain, and it's just such a funny movie. But I think you should check it out if you haven't seen it. It's really old, but it's so funny. Richard Pryor off the chain, so imagine how he was talking to them kids. He was cutting up.
That made me think about Eddie Murphy on Raw doing the Richard Pryor and the Bill Cosby impersonation.
Ain't that when he
You
had on
know.
that red leather?
Mhm.
Yep.
No. That's purple. Purple and Raw. Delirious is red.
Okay.
Yeah, he had this freaking leather
Situation.
that stuff is that stuff is still funny. He talking about he was talking about the stuff with the women. He said, I know a dude that got caught in the bed, and his woman caught him, and he said, it wasn't me. And she believed him. Like, that stuff funny, man. Or he was talking about this old, but it's still funny, like when the women start hitting him with what have you done for me lately? With the Janet Jackson joint that she came out with back then. But I was going over. Mhm. only know the melody of that song because one of me and my mom's favorite movies is Sister Act 2.
Really? That's the good one.
Yeah.
I like, you know what matter of fact, I changed my mind. The Nutty Professor. I've watched that so many times in like the past 2 weeks. It's just a classic. Actually, the number 2, The Clumps, Off the Chain with Janet.
I just rewatched School of Rock this week.
He's so funny. What is his name?
Jack Black.
He is hilarious. Like him with
He's
them
funny.
kids is ridiculous.
I was laughing. I was like, this movie probably wouldn't fly like coming out now, but like the stuff that was happening of like he was a bum, so dude was sleeping on the floor in his room. His girlfriend coming there waking him up for the ring. So I was like, man, what you bothering me for, man? You know I don't have it. Or like he put his fingers up like this because it's a PG movie. He said, read between the lines, Theo. Read between the lines. And I'm like, bruh, like you gotta catch it. Like all the stuff he said, I've been touched by your kids. And I'm sure they've been touched by me.
Yeah, that would definitely not fly.
Because everybody took it the wrong way. But nah, like I had a teacher in high school and she would talk about like, she tried to tell us Forrest Gump was not about Forrest. It was about Jenny. And we was like, but watching School of Rock again as an adult, which I know the movie in and out, I know it so much. I know the drum solos because I started watching the movie in what I think it came out like 03 or something like that. Because that's when I was like around the time I started playing drums. So anything with music back then I was watching. But anyway, I watched this as an adult and I'm like, as much as this movie was for like Jack Black, well, Dewey Finn in the movie, that's his name. It was really about the kids. All those kids learned some stuff that helped them out in their real life when it came to like pretty much having confidence in that. Zach was started becoming confident. Freddie, the big girl Tamika with the singing voice who was singing Chain of Fools, like they all took something from that and they were better off in their life. And so it's like one of those things where like most relationships is a lot of give and take. I think Dewey took a lot of stuff away from them and the kids took some away from them. And I think if people was watching this, if at this point right now, you can actually type in on YouTube School of Rock and you'll see, I think when either at the 10-year or 20-year anniversary, all those kids that were grown now, they came back and they replayed the songs and they had their solos and stuff like that. So it's like crazy how that movie right there probably like is, I would consider it a cult classic. Like people know about it, but I really consider it a cult classic.
Period.
And then I think I was talking to my cousin. We were just talking about, I was telling him I had my kids, like the girls watched School of Rock with me for a little bit, which is a plus. And I said, I don't know when I'm gonna let them watch like all the movies with me, like or shows. Like I've been going back watching all the shows I've been rewatching because they're all on I got BT Plus subscription on Amazon Prime. So I've been watching Moesha. I've been watching the Wayans brothers. Like
I hate
the
the
Wayans brothers
brothers.
is actually much, huh?
I hate it. I used to
It's
watch it
actually,
though, like when I was a kid, like glued to the TV, but like now I just can't.
right. I think now it's much funnier because I watched Marlon break down the Wayans brothers and he was talking about, hey, Black people was always so melodramatic and doing all this stuff. So we said on Wayans Brothers, we're gonna do everything over the top. Which when I watched it in a new lens, it made it funny to me because like I was watching the episode where Marlon couldn't get into a club because they didn't like his hair. And so they made a hair product that had like some Drano in it. And they had Gary Coleman to be in a commercial on the radio. And everybody's hair started burning. Like it's like a whole bunch of stupid stuff happening. But I was like laughing at like all that stuff like Martin
I can
fighting
watch
Thomas
Martin.
Hearns.
What about Jamie Foxx show?
I think Jamie Foxx is funny.
I'm going to go to sleep if you put that on for sure. I'd rather
With Jamie
watch
Foxx?
Yeah. Jamie Foxx is funny. He is funny, but the show just, I don't know. I can't.
I think I ain't gonna lie. Some shows you gotta watch with the right people because like the roaches get out of the house, or the plain white rice, see how it boils, and they have to little sing off like stuff like that, or like when Jamie and Braxton had the little dance off in the apartment, like That still be funny, man.
I could do Martin. I could do. You know what I've been watching? Gosh, what is that?
I've been watching Bel Air.
Oh gosh, Lisa Ray with the baby daddy, and
You talking about
you know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the name right now. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I've been rewatching.
It's not called All of Me. It's called
All
something
of
else.
us,
Like
all of us, all of
All of
us.
Us with
Yep,
Bobby and Dwayne Martin.
yep.
And I forgot her name.
That was like a really good show.
It was solid. That's the time I want to say. I want to say Autumn was on UPN. All of Us.
Yep. The
Half and
Hugleys.
Half. 101. Eve.
Eve was
Remember Eve
good.
show?
Yep.
Yeah, Autumn shows was on UPN at the time. I don't know. We could have a whole freaking
For sure.
we can talk about all that stuff. But I just want to let everybody know, like, keep pushing. It is going into Q4, I believe, right? October, November, December. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're rounding out Q3, going into Q4. People call it September surge. Companies are hiring a lot right now because it's September surge. So just keep applying, get a better strategy. If you need help, you know how to do. Get with me or some of my friends in the industry that can help you out when it comes to your job search strategy. But it's been another episode. If y'all like the topics, let us know. Also, we waiting for y'all to send them questions in to the question inbox. We waiting for y'all. And I actually got one, but since at the end I want to give him a better representation the next episode. That way I can answer it then because I forgot to put it on the sheet. But until next time, we always enjoy talking to y'all. I mean, hopefully y'all enjoy listening to us. But we out. Peace.